Hey everyone, finished reading the next issue of Ranger Academy, issue 5. Sage returns to Ranger Academy with her class. She's convinced her Spectrite crystal is cursed and she's determined to not use it. Tula and Mathis try to talk to her, but Sage just walks by, nearly breaking down in tears. Sage sulks in caves under the school. Nika comes to talk to her. He tells her a little about her father, and when he was at the academy. Sage goes to see Carter, and he tells her about Trial Remediation Class, a class for students who didn't complete the first trial. That night, Sage looks over her Spectrite crystal and thinks about back when she morphed. She thinks to herself, it made her feel complete, but at the same time, she's still worried that something's wrong. At her first Trial Remediation class, Sage is told to look into a Spectra tube. In it, a past or future ranger will appear and try to help. Sage sees her father, but the connection shorts out. Sage begins to break down. She's frustrated and upset. She feels like she can't get anything right. Tula can tell Sage is feeling uneasy and offers to show her the battle matrix tomorrow. During training later, Lindy confides in Sage. She's feeling insecure. They promise to tell each other the truth when they're upset. Sage can't bring herself to reveal everything to her friend just yet. The next day, Tula shows Sage to the battle matrix. It's a massive virtual simulator. Tula activates a program where Goldar is attacking. She morphs but gets distracted when Sage calls out to her. Sage explains that she was worried for her safety. She doesn't quite understand what a simulation is. Tula asks Sage about her father, and they talk a bit. The next day, the students are talking about Parents' Day. Some of the students have parents coming to visit. Some of the students supposedly have parents who are famous rangers. Over the next week, internal conflict eats at Sage, and after seeing Tula arguing with Mathis about her, she breaks down and shows Tula her power coin, glowing green with her Spectrite crystal. I'm split on this issue. It does a better job than the rest of the series, I think, in playing to this comic's strengths, but the characters are still mostly flat and unimpressive. The whole issue is Sage slowly having a mental breakdown, a perfect storm of events combined with her anxiety, later to suffer intense insecurity. A therapist could probably learn a lot from studying Sage. Sage is now convinced her Spectrite crystal is cursed. I don't fully comprehend her reasoning. I think possibly growing up isolated with only her father has made her highly impressionable. She believes what others say, even without proof. The way the caves under the academy are handled is odd. Nika implies he found the caves, and he's the only one who knows of them. This was just really awkward and just a plain weird thing to include. Why couldn't the caves just be a thing that exists? Why did they specifically have to be something Nika has a connection to? Nika reveals a teensy bit of new info about Sage's father. He lacked self-confidence and could sometimes miss the opportunity for potential choices. The students of the school are all friends now. The trip to Chromia last issue proved to be a strong bonding event for them. In one scene, Sage is playing with a collapsible sphere, the same toy Andros is seen with in his flashbacks to him and Corone as kids. This implies a possible time setting. Could this be set around that time when Andros and Corone were children? It would be kind of weird since the school appears to also be Terra Venture crashed on the moon of Miranoi, but this comic's timeline is kind of wonky. When Sage looks into the Spectra tube, she sees her father. He's unaware of her, though. He looks the same as we saw him in past issues, so possibly this projection is from the present. Sage mentions it doesn't look like he's home. His hands appear to be typing at a keyboard or console. Is it possible he left home to search for Sage? Guilt builds up in Sage's mind when she promises Lindy to share her feelings with her when they're upset. Sage doesn't want to let her friends know about her powers being green, a cursed color. The Battle Matrix is similar to the Simu deck of Power Rangers in Space. The name is similar to the Battle Grid of VR Troopers. It functions similarly to the Simu deck. It's a room with a grid pattern that changes appearance and runs simulations for training purposes. Tula morphs and battles a virtual Goldar. Tula is a Red Ranger, and uniquely her helmet's mouthpiece moves. Huh, that's weird. Tula questions if Sage is Ryanth's daughter. Sage responds that it doesn't matter how a family is made. Sage then thinks to herself that she doesn't know her father's past or how she came into his life. The next scene was oddly misleading. We see a group of students in class with a bird guy in a suit similar to Birdie's from SPD. He's teaching the students about combat strategy and uses Goldar as an example. After having Goldar appear in the simulation, I thought this was implying that the students were going to be using the battle matrix. But later, Mathis tells Tula first-year cadets aren't supposed to use the matrix. I had to go back and reread the last couple of pages. This confusion could have easily been avoided by simply using a different monster, either in the simulation or in the teacher's lecture. It's not like there aren't a lot of choices for monsters and villains in Power Rangers, especially here where it's implied the school has access to not only past records, but future accounts. Then again, Green and Orange Rangers are considered myths, so I don't know how much is potentially being withheld from the students. Parents' Day is a thing, and it includes some former Rangers. How exactly are the teachers, or whoever, going to cover up the existence of Green Rangers, or Orange Rangers in Cosmic Fury's case? Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Ninja Storm, SPD, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury, RPM, Samurai, Super Mega Force, Dino Charge, Dino Fury, as well as the past teams that no longer exist, like Prism or Supersonic. Any Rangers from any of those teams, no Green Rangers. Even teams that don't have Green Rangers still most likely interacted with teams that did. The Alien Rangers knew the Mighty Morphin team, though there wasn't a Green Ranger on the team at the time. They also met the Zeo incarnation of the team, where Adam was a Green Ranger. In Spaces, Carlos started as the Green Turbo Ranger. Wild Force met the Time Force Rangers, including Trip. Dino Thunder met the Ninja Storm Rangers, including Cam. And they also kind of sort of met Bridge from SPD, though their memories were erased, but Kira and Ethan saw them also and before it began, so wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Operation Overdrive met Xander of Mystic Force, and Bridge mentions being a Green Ranger. Ninja Steel met Rangers from across several teams, including Tommy, who used his Mighty Morphin Green powers. Beast Morphers had a Ranger history class and were no stranger to nearly every previous incarnation of the team. They also met Riley from Dino Charge. How about other continuities or teams with questionable connection to the main show or the continuity of this comic? The 2017 movie was a Mighty Morphin reboot/remake, and Rita was the Green Ranger. Yeah, she was evil, but was it because she was a Green Ranger and not purely because it was her own evil ambitions separate from her being a Ranger? Mission training. Rex Ranger trains two young recruits. Mission training may have been a major influence on the Ranger Academy comic, so I feel it's worth bringing up. Rex shows the students clips from Ninja Storm and SPD, both teams with Green Rangers. One of the students even wears Green Ranger gloves, so he himself is probably a Green Ranger. In the Boom comics, we have the Omega Rangers. The Blue Ranger is more of a cyan, a kind of light greenish blue. One of the holders of this particular power actually appeared in this comic. Definitely the strangest decision and most awkward plot point is this bizarre focus on Green Ranger powers and the assertion that something is wrong with them. I actually liked most of this issue, but it suffers from some fundamental problems that I think hurt the story overall. Recently, the creators of Ranger Academy stated that this comic is intended to be a jumping on point for new fans, and doesn't require knowledge of the franchise as a whole. I thought that that was what the main Boom comics were doing, at least that's how it started. Personally, if I wasn't a Power Rangers fan, I don't think this comic would inspire me to become a fan. It's too basic and the characters are bland. The world it presents just isn't something I care to explore. So yeah, it's okay.